You're listening to the Unnamed Podcast with your host, Midnight Lunatic. Available on Anchor.fm.
Hello, Midnight Crew, and welcome to Unnamed Podcast. I am your host, Midnight Lunatic, and boy, do we have some topics to talk about this week. But, as usual, before we head into our juicy topics, we must first be enlightened by the fact of the week, as we will now call it. I don't know if you guys are ready for this one. So, fun fact of the week says, airplane food isn't very tasty because our sense of smell and taste decrease by 20% to 50% while flying. That, to me, that's knowledge right there. I had no idea about that. But there you have it. That's why airplane food is so bad. So now, I don't want to hear any more airplane food jokes. Now, until the eternity. I don't want to hear no more jokes. Now, let's get right into the show. So, to get started, as another way of getting my podcast out into the world, I will be adding my podcast episodes to YouTube every week, and it'll be on my channel. So if you haven't checked out my channel, go ahead and check it out. Links will be in the description of this podcast, wherever you can find it. Spotify bio, it's all right there. It'll all be right there for you. Go ahead and check that out. And give it a sub so you can stay updated whenever I post a new video. I do gaming videos and all kinds of stuff. And then, if you don't want to follow my podcast anywhere else, you can follow it on YouTube. And there you go. You got all your YouTube videos that you normally watch, because I know a lot of you use YouTube. Plus, you got my podcast episodes on there also. So episodes 1 through 5 are already uploaded as of today. As of right now, you can go check, and they are all uploaded. And this one that you were also listening to will also be uploaded by the time you're listening to this. So go check that out. You'll see it. Bam. Right there. I wasn't lying. Bam. I don't want to hear no more. You're a liar. It's not there. It's there. Check it. But yes, that is another way I'm going to try to get my podcast out into the world, try to grow and expand my podcast audience a little bit more, because the whole, Anchor thing and Spotify and Apple Podcasts, it's not doing me no help. I need something else to try to get it out there. So I'm going to be posting on my YouTube channel every week. Make sure you stay sub to that. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you stay notified when I post. And anytime I live stream my games, it's on there also. So, that being said, let's get right into the next topic, which a lot of you may be a fan of. You guys heard of Chipotle? Well, apparently, the Chipotle food chain is having to pay $25 million in fines for serving tainted food. They're making people sick by serving tainted food. I'm not sure what they do to this food. I'm not sure. I've only had Chipotle once. No, I take it back, twice. I've had Chipotle twice in my lifetime. And it was okay. It was decent. And, it's not the best, but it's not the worst either. It's okay. But apparently they've made over 1,100 people sick from the tainted food. And since they have to pay the 25 million fines, this is now the largest food safety fine ever paid in the United States. So the company has already admitted to poor safety practices and will avoid conviction by starting a better food handling program. And I sure hope so. I mean, this shouldn't have even happened in the first place. People should already, understand how food safety works. I mean, that's kind of a big deal in the food industry. But what do I know? I just work in the food industry, right? I don't know anything. But whatever. Chipotle, pay those fines. Don't get any more sick people coming in. Try not to taint your food. Try to get more people sick. Come on. There's already so much out there that's everyone's already worried about. We don't want to go into your fine establishment, order you a burrito, and we get sick off of it. Come on now. What kind of food business are you guys running? We got a nice topic to talk about on the sports games, I guess you can say, Madden 21. Have you guys ever played Madden before? I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have heard of Madden or at least seen it, played it, something, right? So, Lamar Jackson from the Baltimore Ravens is now the new cover for Madden 21. And this is confirmed by the man himself. We'll go ahead and listen to that audio now.
Talk to you. Where is that process?
Yeah, they talked to me. I should be on the cover of Madden. Yeah, they should. But yeah, like I said, I'm not worried about a curse. Patrick Mahomes was on the front. He won the MVP, so I would want that curse. I hope that's a curse, and I want it if it is.
So you are,
huh?
You are the cover of Madden 21.
No, I am. Yeah, I am.
Congratulations.
Appreciate that.
So, as you just heard, the quarterback himself just confirmed that he is on the cover of Madden 21 and isn't worried about the Madden curse. Now, before we move on, I just want to say, if you guys are looking at this or listening to this podcast on YouTube, I will actually be adding the video to YouTube, the podcast. I'll be adding the video, not just the audio. For people that just listen to my podcast, you guys are just going to get the audio. But if you also want to look at the video for the audio, go on the channel, check it out. It'll all be there for you. Starting from this moment, anytime I add an audio, there will also be a video of it on my YouTube. So that's the cool part. That's the cool feature about, checking out that YouTube channel. Telling you, I'll be doing some big things. But for those that don't know about the Madden curse, let's talk about it. It started when Garrison Hurst broke his ankle in 1998, shortly after starring on the cover of Madden NFL 99. So this has been going on for a while now. It's been going on for quite some time. So most of the players who starred on the game's covers have suffered an injury the following season. And of those 22 who have been selected for the cover throughout the seasons, 16 have been troubled or had their season ended or shortened after their cover debut. And that includes injuries and things like that just end or shorten their career, or they even get cut from a team and never get re-signed by another team. So there's a lot of different things that happen. And so a lot of people think that, after the Madden, cover, that you're cursed, that you're not going to have a good year the following season because you made the cover. So I don't know. I don't know if it's real or not. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think it's a curse, or do you guys think it's just an urban legend? I mean, we did see Patrick Mahomes make the cover for Madden 20, and as we saw, he became a Super Bowl champion. So could it possibly be broken now? Is this a curse over? Let me know what you think. Post your thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. I'm curious. Is it real? Is it a legend? We'll never find out. I guess we just got to stay tuned and see what happens to good old Lamar Jackson. Now, before moving on to this topic, oh man, I got a lot of thoughts about this one. This one is, to me, it's funny because let's just get right into it.
Supposing we hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or just very powerful light, and I think you said that hasn't been checked, but you're going to test it. And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way. And I think you said you're going to test that too. Sounds interesting. Right, and then I see the disinfectant, where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets on the lungs and it does a tremendous number in the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that. So that you're going to have to use medical doctors with. But it sounds interesting to me. So we'll see. But the whole concept of the light, the way it kills it in 1 minute, that's pretty powerful. Steve, please.
So as you guys just heard, our president of the United States, Donald Trump, suggests that injections of disinfectants can beat the coronavirus and clean out our lungs, our bodies. Like it's stupid. I've never heard of a more idiotic idea from a U.S. president than this. I mean, at this point, this guy's just trying to quietly kill everyone. I mean, think about it, And after these comments were made, Lysol, Lysol, the big disinfectant company, they responded to the situation. So we'll go ahead and check that out now.
This morning, medical experts are nearly unanimous in saying that trying unproven treatments can prove to be very dangerous, especially ingesting or injecting disinfectants. In fact, the maker of Lysol has issued a warning this morning concerned that people may try it. The maker of Lysol is saying we must be clear that under no circumstances should our disinfectant products be administered into the human body through ingestion, or any other route. As with all products, our disinfectant and hygiene products should only be used as intended and in line with usage guidelines. The concern, Savannah, is that people may try this at home.
So yes, even Lysol themselves are saying, don't do it. Don't be stupid enough to believe what this guy's telling you. Don't do it. They are not meant to be ingested. They are not meant to be injected. They are not supposed to be used for anything other than what they were intended to do. So anyone that is believing this guy, don't do it. You're not going to survive if you do. Well, if you take a lot. You might survive if you just have like a little drink. But don't do it. I'm not saying take a drink. I'm not saying take a shot. I'm not saying that. Just don't do it. An Arizona man died in late March after having ingested some chloroquine phosphate, some type of chemical, right? Believing it would protect him from being infected with the coronavirus. And the man's wife told NBC News that she had watched the televised briefings during which Trump talked about the potential benefits of that, chemical. And so Trump convinced this guy that this chemical would help prevent him getting the coronavirus, and the guy died from it. So, with that being said, I think Trump needs to be more accountable for the people that he is actually convincing to do these things. I mean, think about it, guys. Think about it. If someone, let's call him Billy. Let's say Billy says, here's a potion. Here's a poison for you. Drink this. It'll give you powers. And let's say that other person drinks it and dies. Wouldn't Billy get convicted for this? Wouldn't Billy become a murderer? Because he was the one that had the poison and said, hey, here you go, drink this, it'll give you powers, knowing damn well that it's not going to do anything but kill the guy. That's pretty much what Trump is doing. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me, but hey, I'm just a regular person, right? I know no special person. My opinion doesn't matter in the bigger ideas like this. It frustrates me because a lot of people are looking up to this guy as like a hero. And to me, these are my thoughts. I'm not trying to convince you guys otherwise. You guys have your own thoughts. We all have our own opinions. I don't want to get too political on this, but it doesn't make sense. Why would a leader, and I say that in quotes, of our country be telling people to take something that could potentially kill us? Why? That's crazy. That's stupid. Anyone that is believing this guy and anyone that is convinced to do these things, hey, I'm just going to say it right now. If you're stupid enough to believe this guy and do the things that he's saying, I don't even think you deserve to even live. Bruh. I mean, okay, all right, not like that. But I'm saying, like, if you're stupid enough to believe what this guy is telling you, you need help. I don't know. I just let me know what you guys think. What do you guys feel about this? I'm not going to talk about it anymore. Am I wrong though? Am I wrong? Am I looking at this the wrong way? I might not be involved in politics, but I know this is just common sense. You shouldn't ingest things and inject things with poisons it just, I don't know. I don't know. But that's all I'm going to talk about with this, guys. Let's move on to our final topic and take away from that nonsense, because that is ridiculous. But there is a question that I get asked a lot. And that question is, what got you started doing your podcast? What motivated you? So I guess the truth is, I never was a podcast guy, and I never listened to podcasts, and I really wasn't interested in podcasts, like, at all. I wouldn't listen. I just was shy away from it. I was like, that's kind of like listening to like the public radio, like interviews and stuff. Like, I didn't really know what podcasts were at the time until one day I was on Twitter, right? And this is where it all started for me. So one day I was on Twitter, and I was just scrolling through my feed, my timeline, and I learned that one of my favorite rapper artists, that I listen to, he is known as Recognized. That's his name. He's from a music group called Mayday, which is also a part of Strange Music, which is my favorite music company, and they're based, out in Kansas City, Missouri, and that's like my favorite music group of all time. Like, not group, but like company. I listen to all their artists. That's what I grew up listening to. But he started his own crew, and it's called the Wrecking Crew on Patreon. And if you follow my socials, you would have seen pictures of me wearing the Wrecking Crew shirt. And that's where I got it from. You have to be, one of the high tiers, of members to receive one of those shirts. And so, I'll talk about that more as we go on. So I had no idea at the time that he had his own crew. And when I saw tweets from the Wrecking Crew account, I started, retweeting and liking their posts, because I was like, hey, this is some good stuff. Like, I'm a fan of Recognize, and I like what he does. I like his music, so I started, liking and retweeting. And it just so happens that the Wrecking Crew account followed me back. And as I was, going through like their stuff, I noticed that there was an account for his podcast that he does. And I didn't realize that he had a podcast. It's called the GTFO podcast, which stands for Get the Out of Here podcast, right? And, I saw that account, and I saw that the podcast was almost as brand new as mine. I mean, he's on episode 11, and as of today, I'm on week 6. So I'm only, a couple weeks behind. But I started retweeting and liking all their posts from that account. And within the same amount of time, like a couple minutes later, I got followed by that account. And at that time, I was like, whoa, okay, I'm hyped now. So now I was like, the only account I really need to be followed by was by the man himself, Recognize. So after I got, followed by both of those accounts, I tweeted my own thing that said, and I quote, this is my own tweet. Not only did at the Wrecking Crew follow me, but now at the GTFOH podcast follow me. Now all that's left is for at Recognize to follow. I'm hyped. After I tweeted that, oh man, it only took a minute after that tweet went out, and I got, guess who? The man himself, Recognize, to retweet, like, and follow me. Which, man, it was the coolest thing ever. I mean, to have one of your favorite artists to follow you, that's big for me. That's awesome. That's cool. Like, I'm pretty sure you would be excited if, let's say, a big artist like, Drake, and I'm not saying he's a big artist. I'm saying like he's one of the people that I look up to in the music industry. Like, he makes some really good music, and overall is a kind-hearted person. He likes to interact with his fans. He likes to, take care of others before he actually helps himself. And that's what I like in people. I like when artists aren't too big of egos, that they actually go out their way to help others before they think about even themselves. So it was a big deal. And after all three of those accounts followed me, I was like, you know what? This is amazing. I was feeling myself. I was having a good day. I was like, I'm going to join. I'm going to join the Wrecking Crew. So I went out to the Patreon page. I, created my own thing, and I joined. And I joined his plus tier, which is one of the high ones. The next step up is the gold tier. And that was kind of a little pricey for me at the time. So I stayed at the plus, which is like $15 a month. And I've been a member now for about 2 months. And what's cool is on his Patreon, he posts things that you wouldn't see elsewhere. It's exclusive for his Patreon members only. It's exclusive for his Wrecking Crew, that's us. And he talks to us, he has his own Discord page. He talks to us daily on there. He does, live streams on Friday and New Music Fridays, which we go in and he plays, new music on Spotify, and we talk about the music, and he just, interacts with us. And that's freaking cool. It's cool. It's cool. And, that's how it all started. And since then I listened to his podcast and was interested by what he was doing in it and how well it sounded, that it inspired me to do my own. And that's what brings us here today. So because of his podcast and the way that it sounded and the way he was doing things and what he was talking about, it's kind of similar to the way I do it, but he has more special effects, and he has, I don't know where he gets his topics from, but they're like topics that like get you trapped in and keep you like reeled in to like the whole thing. And I know like in the past, I'm still getting started. I'm still trying to adjust. This is like out of my comfort zone and everything. I'm still trying to adjust on how he does it. And he makes things just sound so good. And he makes it sound like an actual like radio station. And I'm like, how? And, I'm trying to get there, and I'm trying to constantly learn from his podcast. And I've been listening to others' podcasts also, to try to just get more inspired on how to make things a little bit better. So, I mean, that's pretty much what started it all. He was the one, and the Wrecking Crew were the ones to help me motivate myself to get out my comfort zone and start something new and different. So, I just want to give a shout out to Recognize and the entire Wrecking Crew family for that. And, it made me see things a little differently. I started, paying attention to the news medias a little bit more. I try not to get so much of the negative stuff, but like the funny and like weird topics and just like things overall that are like interesting. But I don't want to get anyone paranoid or, what all these news outlets are trying to get you to do. I'm not trying to do that. So there you have it. That's a story on how I started my podcast, how it all began. And guys, we're almost at the end of season 1. It doesn't mean that the podcast is over. I'm just saying we're almost at the end of season 1. Each season is going to consist of 10 episodes. After 10 episodes, it is a brand new season. And we are week 6, which means we are only 4 away from having a brand new season. That's crazy. That's big. And it's only going to get bigger and better. I'm still trying to work out the details with getting a better mic, getting a better, sound quality and sound control. And I want to try to get guests in here like I said I was going to do. I'm trying to get people in here, and I'm trying to make it more interesting and more fun for you guys to listen to. So the biggest shout out goes to you guys, my Midnight Crew, who have been keeping me wanting to continue going and growing this podcast. And I can't thank you guys enough. Only if I only get 4 or 5 of you listening, it's more than 0. And I'm grateful to have friends and family that support me and listen to this boring guy talk about stuff that might not even be interesting or entertaining. And for that, it deserves a round of applause. I thank you guys so much for tuning in every single week, listening to what I have to say. Even though it's not the most interesting, you guys still listen. and you guys still give your opinion on things, and you guys try to make this podcast a little bit better every single week. And you guys deserve the biggest shout out of all this. Thank you so much. I love you guys. It's amazing, all the support that I get from you guys. Let's continue to expand. Let's continue to grow this family. Let's continue to do this podcast, and let's grow it together. Let's stay united. There are still some troubling times out there, but we will get through this, and we will come out better because of this. So there you guys have it. Week 6 in the books. Unnamed Podcast, hosted by me. There it is. Let me know what you guys' thoughts on this podcast are. Are we growing? Are we expanding? Am I doing a good job as host? Have I caught you guys back in? I know these past couple weeks haven't been the most interesting thing, and that's just because the world is stale. You know, not much happens when the world gets shut down, like I've said. But I'm continuing to push myself as much as I can, get the most interesting things for you guys, and I really want to get you guys interactive. I really do. I really want to get you guys more interactive and get you guys more involved. So please, if you want to, go on to Anchor, go to my podcast channel, leave a voice message, and I will definitely play all your guys's and respond to all your guys' messages. Just get involved. That's all I'm asking. Let me know what you guys think. What your guys' opinions are. Just let me know what your guys' opinions are on this whole podcast. Again, thank you so much for listening. I am your host, Midnight Lunatic, and I will see you guys next week. Thank you. Stay safe.